name is Dr. Patrick Lang. I'm clearly the band leader of Only Objects, but I'm here in my more academic capacity to welcome you to tonight's performance and to briefly contextualise the work. So please do come in as close as current guidelines allow and let me lecture at you briefly. So, firstly, I want to acknowledge and pay respect to the traditional owners of the land on which we stand, the Kaurna people of the Adelaide Plains. Sovereignty was never ceded. This continent always was, is, and will be Aboriginal land. We pay our respects to elders past, present, and emerging. So, the reason we're here is a year ago, almost to the day we launched our debut album, the Nostomanic Cypher, an illuminated pandemonium in 9 meta-narratological paroxysms, available at the bar over there. Or as our keyboard player Cam likes to refer to it, the Nosty. Please don't do that. So it was a record born of struggle and adversity, not just in its songwriting and conception, but in its very recording and production. We went into the studio to begin laying down drums in November 2019, thinking this won't take long. I will spare you the headlines that followed. But through it all, the work is endured. Through bushfires and pandemics, through life changes and lineup changes, the album is, in all senses, a huge work and a testament to the incredible skills of the creatives involved. Reflecting on a year later, I've come to realise that sometimes you don't actually understand your own art until long after you have made it. After the release, I came to understand the Nosty as an essentially haunted piece of work, an artefact that sounded not like the product of another era, but rather the product of a lost future we were promised but never delivered. Factors of this sort of hauntological music can be found throughout the record: temporal disjunction, retrofuturism, cultural memory, and the persistence of the past. A phrase I keep coming back to: you cut into the present and the past leaks out. For me individually as well, the album is a deeply personal piece of work detailing many of my struggles and hardships over the last decade. It was supposed to be an epilogue to that time of my life, a full stop. Something very recently I've come to realise is not so black and white, not so binary. It's not so much a full stop as at least a question mark, and more realistically, a comma. What you do with that and whether you make it a positive or a negative is up to you. Which brings us very clearly to the Nostomanic Cypher Redux, our glorious remix collection that we are launching tonight. It is in many senses what I would call a pretty on-brand product for us, in that it was supposed to be a small undertaking and has exploded into a huge one. Of course, as part of the release, I wanted to get a few remixes done, which has always been a key part of our strategy as artists, and it began when Tyson, aka DJ Trip, asked to remix The Happiest Thought, and bored waiting for stems from me, simply chopped up the MP3 he had and made the glorious piece of ambient sludge you'll find on the cassette. Then came Nox's incredible sci-fi EDM take on Accretion Disc, which has been added to rotation on Fresh recently. Then Chambers, who is in the room tonight, I believe, thumping techno remix of Disarm, which I have described as Burgain pill ingestion soundtrack music. I could go on, and I will. Valley Flaxman, who is also here tonight, and Nug Shompa, big shout out to those guys. They pulled together a trap, hip-hop, Gorillaz style mashup of rhymes and beats on Good News Didn't Die that has been making waves since it dropped. Dan apparently works best when he has me harassing him for deadlines. Alex Mader, who also mastered the collection, cut all of my bullshit out of Mortgage and turned it into a punk song. Tim Witt completely reordered my lyrics in a highly danceable take on Kathy I'm Pushing the Button that he was worried was disrespectful, which, well, it is, but I love it. Pink Plastic Bento Factory threw out everything and straight up covered the second stage with a vocal that sounds like the Living End's Chris Chaney fronting a glitch pop band. That's Jesse, who also did the amazing artwork, who has fucking ditched us for a drag show tonight.
He won ticket.
I know. Hey, I even dusted off my producer's cap for a low-file instrumental on our keyboard player Cam's tune, Wow and Flutter and Skip. Also, finally, a special shout-out to Mood Miller, aka my very talented brother-in-law Corey, who delivered a banging new tune based on Towards a Singularity with an unbelievably tight deadline. He should in fact be here tonight, but as he lives in Bendigo and Victoria is currently 98% underwater, he literally couldn't leave the state. So, which again is kind of on brand for everything associated with this project in the last years, and particularly the last week. It's been a week. So, the resultant collection is a vital and beautiful piece of work. We never want this to be merely a scattering of 12-inch style edits and club banger remixes, and it isn't. I was discussing this with our designer Jesse the other day, who commented that all the works in one way or the other have something to say about mental health, which is something I hold dearly, as it's one of the big themes of the album. In closing the academic/bullshit part of my speech, I'd like to take a moment to acknowledge all of the artists involved in the project: Corey Miller, Cesare Kanarski, Paul Chambers, Dan Linky, Kyle Vibert, Jesse Miles, Tim Witt, Alex Mader, and Tyson Hopridge. Now to the more critical party section of tonight. First up, please give a huge round of applause to new friends Quebec Echo. A great set. And please do stick around afterwards for Valley Flaxman and his procession of guest stars. Big thank you to the Metro for hosting us. Always incredible support of Adelaide musicians. And to Pat on sound tonight as well, doing an amazing job. Please do visit the merch table in your travels this evening if you desire so and are able to. Pick up a cassette, a vinyl, a CD, a t-shirt, Buying merchandise from local musicians is the best way to directly support their art, and a huge thank you to all of you for being here tonight and supporting all the wacky shit that Only Objects gets up to. You are all excellent humans, and our big thanks. So, in closing, it falls to me to introduce Adelaide Electro Art Pop Quartet Only Objects. Firstly, on drums, and because it's going to take him the longest to actually get to his instrument, on drums and pastry chef duties, Sam Menzel. On bass and backing vocals, the man, the myth, the Stonehenge monument that is Zach Brenny. On backing vocals, keys and guitar, and he'll also mix you a martini during a solo. Don't laugh, I've seen him do it. Cam Walters. There he is. And yeah. And lastly, on vocals, synth guitar and academic introductions, I am Patrick Lang. Thank you for your support. Thank you for your attention. Now, let's launch this thing, check out the cassette, and here's a song about breaking the second law of thermodynamics.